Thailand, the country with around 100,000 femboys and ladyboys. A beautiful country that's around 514,000 square kilometers of jungles, beaches, and a bustling city, and is now home to roughly 70.3 million people. That's a lot of people. And it's currently valued at 526.4 billion USD in 2024, which makes them the second largest economy in Southeast Asia. Well, how did we get here? Historically, Thailand's economy has leaned heavily onto tourism. Their sunshine-soaked beaches, its amazing thick jungles, oh, the beautiful landscapes. I'm sorry. They also have, they have a robust manufacturing sector. Everything from electronics, automotive parts, and all other similar manufacturings. You might have heard of them because they manufacture a lot of parts for Toyota and Honda, and even many more car parts. But recently, the country has been trying to show it's more than just a versatile tourist and export factory. It's full of innovations, SMEs, and infrastructure investments that are now being pushed hard as a part of a national effort to stay competitive and stay ready for the future. Now, about that recent economic growth, right? It's been quite a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. After a slow 2023 growth, its GDP only increased by 2% more or less that year. And 2024 has not done them any better, right? Its 2024 uptick, barely 3%. But 2025, it's brought them a lot of renewed optimism. Some quarters has shown the growth spiking all the way to 3.4%, the fastest in 10 quarters. This is thanks to government stimuluses, rising consumptions, and a bounce back in tourism and exports. That said, it's not all pad thai and massages. There are, of course, headwinds, global economic uncertainty, weaker demand for exports in certain sectors, and a still soft domestic consumption environment. This means they might just grow around 2% a year or 2.8% in the coming years. That's dangerously low. So, that's Thailand today, a tropical paradise, part industrious export engine, and now increasingly a nation trying to reimagine itself for the future. In this video, my colleagues are going to dive into Thailand, and they're going to see what makes them tick. We're going to see its booming sectors, its shifting challenges, and maybe some food recommendations for your next trip to Thailand. So,
อย่างสิงคโปร์อย่างญี่ปุ่นเนี่ย
so please
รวยก่อนแก่
take the
แต่เรา
stage.
เนี่ยแก่ก่อนรวย
Bulu Mata Dinar.
ก็จริงว่าแบบสถานการณ์มันจะดีขึ้นมากน้อยแค่ไหนแต่ถ้าไม่ทำมันไม่ดีขึ้นแน่
Hello everyone, welcome to Bulu Mata Dinar. Today's discussion, we will focus on two major pillars that shape Thailand's future, its demographics and its competitive advantages. To guide us through these insights, we're joined by two amazing guests. First, we have Ayu, who will help us unpack Thailand's demographic landscape, and Dina will walk us through Thailand's economic strengths and the competitive advantages that position the country in the global markets. Hello Ayu, how are you? Hello. Let's sit. Okay, let's begin with Ayu. As we know, Thailand's population has now passed 70 million, and a large share of its people are concentrated in major urban centers like Bangkok. How does this urban concentration influence Thailand's economic growth and its social policy priorities?
We know that in the latest data that around 54% Thailand live in urban area, which is the biggest one is in Bangkok. This concentrated population have some impact, especially in economy impact. The first one is the city become economic engines from the Thailand itself, and the second one is the better access for the education, healthiness, and infrastructure. And also, this can have a social impact, especially in negative side, because it can create an urban challenge like rising living costs and also pollution and overall services. So this can be made into rural gap between the urban area and rural area. So government must increase the development, such as like expand digital access to rural area, transport networks, and also regional investment.
Okay, now besides urbanization, Thailand is also facing major demographic shifts. The country is aging rapidly, and fertility rates to continue to decline. With these trends happening at the same time, what challenges and perhaps opportunities does Thailand face in maintaining a productive workforce over the next decade?
Okay, for the latest data in 2025, the growth rate in Thailand is minus, and also the birth and the death population numbers, the death is more than the birth itself, and the rising of median age in 2025 into 40 years old. This made some challenges, especially in working population in Thailand, such as the first one is labor shortage, because the birth rate is so low, and over the next year it can be labor shortage. And the next one is because labor shortage, it can made a higher labor cost because and the last is heavier strain on healthcare and pensions because many elderly in Thailand.
Okay, I see. Thank you, Ayu, for your insights. Now let's turn to Dinda, who will guide us through Thailand's competitive strengths in the global economy. Thailand is widely recognized as the world's largest producer of natural rubber. How does this dominance in rubber production create strategic advantages in global supply chains and industrial competitiveness?
Okay, Thailand's position as the largest global producer of natural rubber, around 4.7 million tons annually, which is one third of world supply, gives a stable and reliable supply for global industries, including automotive, medical gloves, and industrial manufacturing. This abundance allows Thailand to control pricing, maintaining quality standards, and influence global supply chains, making it a strategic partner for multinational companies. Additionally, the domestic rubber processing industry, for example, technically specified rubber and latex products, adds value before export, increasing Thailand's industrial competitiveness beyond raw materials production.
And beyond natural resources, Thailand has strong manufacturing sectors, especially in automotive and electronics. How do these industries complement Thailand's resource base to create sustainable competitive advantages?
Okay, Thailand manufacturing sectors, particularly in automotive and electronics, create a synergy with natural resource base. For example, Thailand supplies processed rubber for tires and auto parts, directly supporting the automotive industry. The strong manufacturing infrastructure, skill force, supplier networks, and export-oriented policies allows Thailand to integrate raw materials, processing, and finishing the products within one ecosystem.
And Thailand has also built a strong presence in tourism, agriculture, and exports.
Yes.
In a rapidly shifting global market, which of these strengths do you believe is most critical for Thailand's long-term economic resilience, and why?
While all three sectors are important, natural resource-based exports are manufacturing-linked industry like rubber, automotive parts, and electronics, the most critical for long-term economic resilience. This is because they provide consistency, foreign exchange, integrate Thailand into global supply chains, and support industrial innovation. Even during global economic fluctuation, tourism is significant but more susceptible to crises, such as pandemics or geopolitical instability, whereas agriculture and manufacturing export offer stable, scalable, and globally demanded products, ensuring Thailand's economy remains competitive in the long run.
Okay, and to extend our understanding of Thailand's global engagement, the country is part of over 8,000 bilateral and regional free trade agreements. With so many FTAs, how does Thailand balance its national interests, such as protecting domestic industries, with the benefits of trade liberalization?
Okay, while Thailand gains from open trade, reliance on global markets to expose the economy to external shocks. Example include global recession, supply chain disruption, or price volatility in commodities like rubber, rice, or oil. Heavy dependence on trade with China, ASEAN, and Japan may also create market concentration risk, making Thailand vulnerable if demand drops in key partner countries.
Okay, thank you so much for Dinda and Ayu for the thoughtful and insightful discussions today. You have helped us understand Thailand from two important angles, its demographic shifts and its unique competitive strengths in the global market, from the challenges of an aging populations and the richness of cultural diversity to Thailand's leadership in natural rubber, manufacturing, tourism, and its engagement in multiple free trade agreements. We have seen how much each of these factors shapes the country's economic direction and long-term resilience. But the conversations doesn't end here. Stay with us because right after this break, we'll be joined by our next guest speaker who will take us even deeper into Thailand's economic landscape.
ร้อน เบอร์สามสิ ทำไงดีอะถ้าโปรหิต
พัดลมฮาตาริไปอะค่ะ
มันดียังไงเดี๋ยว
หน้ากว้าง 18 นิ้ว ใหญ่กว่า แรงกว่า
ฮาตาริ
Thank you for staying with us. Now we will continue our discussion about Thailand's social and economic situation with our guest today, Mr. Edmund. How are you, Mr. Edmund?
Good, I'm good.
Okay, maybe we can start our question and answer. Okay, for the first questions, could you explain Thailand's main economic goals and its current economic situations today?
So Thailand's economic growth is to maintain a stable inflation at 1 to 3%. This is set by the Minister of Finance and the Bank of Thailand, or the Central Bank of Thailand. They also prefer an economic growth, and of course it's at 1 to 3%, in which in 2025 it will be forecasted at 2.6%, and in 2026 it's at 1.6%. This forecast is from Bank of Thailand, and the decrease in growth is mainly due to economic demand on Thailand itself and also external politics.
Okay, thank you. Now that we understand where Thailand stands, let's look at what will shape its future. For second questions, what opportunities will drive Thailand's future economic outlook?
Okay, so before we move to that question, we want to note that the inflation of Thailand currently is at 0%. This is due to high output in agricultural products as well as high supply in other products and the fall in energy prices, which leads to lower prices and of course inflation. With the accompanied government intervention in subsidy, there's also a zero inflation rate in Thailand.
Okay,
But then our outlook is a decreasing economic growth. As previously mentioned, it is 1.6% at 2026. This forecast is from the Bank of Thailand, and the decrease is mainly because of its high growth previously, and as well as a correction, a stable correction. And it's fifth in ASEAN, where Vietnam and Indonesia is at 5%, and here at Thailand it's at 2.6%, which is actually not that bad for a developing country.
That's very helpful, yeah. But at the same time, Thailand is facing very low inflation. Thailand's headline inflation is now at 0%. What effects does this have on the economy?
Okay, in my point of view, the economic of Thailand having 0% inflation this year is really good because of course it's cheaper to go to Thailand. It's cheap. They have cheaper products, and of course when there's cheaper products, tourism will increase, which is part of their GDP too. And this year there is the SEA Games in Thailand, which is going on now, and we expect that to improve the economic conditions for hotels, for living, and also tourism too, because people visit there for the SEA Games.
Okay, I see. Now let's talk about what makes Thailand attractive in the global market. What makes Thailand an attractive destination for tourists and foreign investors?
Thailand remains very attractive because of course the zero inflation and also the government management on the interest rate too.
Okay, I see. Great. And speaking of strengths, Thailand is also pushing high value export products, right? Which high value exports products is Thailand working to develop?
Okay, so export products, there is tourism, data centers, and of course their agricultural products, which is pushing their exports. Their agricultural products such as rice, soybeans is part of their biggest exports. And of course that will improve their GDP too.
Okay, those products shows Thailand's potential, but there are also long-term challenges to consider. What long-term challenges could limit Thailand's growth, and what strategies is the country using to move toward becoming a high-income economy?
Okay, as mentioned previously, their decline in economic growth from 2.2 to 1.6 is, of course, a challenge because in developing countries like Indonesia, it's at 5%. To maintain that challenges, they, of course, have several key decision makers, such as the monetary policy, government policy, which always supports the economic growth, such as the 0.5% decline in interest rate that happens in August.
Okay, to understand the bigger picture, we also need to look at Thailand's trade rules. What are the key trade rules or regulations that businesses should know when trading with Thailand?
Okay, if Thailand wants to import their products, they have tight regulation, especially to those that they can produce. This is also to protect the local producers. For example, for soybeans, Thailand can make several of it. So the import of soybeans are really low, and they limit it to some quotas as well as some tariffs too. And of course, in several products that are not for inputs in the production, they try to not import it. So for example, if they can make the raw products, then they will make it by itself. But of course, if they cannot, they will import it for their production process. And after those production, they will export their products to gain more value.
Okay, thank you. And one more about Thailand's exports. Why are Thailand's exports expected to slow down next year?
Okay, even this year, it is expected to slow down because of the US tariffs war, which of course will have negative impact to the balance of trade. And several temporary halts and economic condition is expected to impact the exports. It will be down to around negative 10% next year. This is mainly due to the decrease in global demand and the overproduction in 2025 itself. And of course, this will also impact the economy forecast at 1.6.
Okay, I see. And to connect this financial side, we now move to Thailand's monetary policy. How does Thailand operate its monetary policy?
Okay, so firstly, in Thailand, the Minister of Finance discussed with the Bank of Thailand about the inflation target, in which it's 1 to 3%. And in the MPC or monetary policy candidates, they have one governor, two deputy governor, and 4 external experts. And they discuss when to decrease the interest rate and how to maintain those inflation with the economic targets set by the king as well as the prime minister. And their instrument is the one-day bilateral repurchase or repo rate for the monetary policy. And BOT uses open market operations like Indonesia, where it is a managed float where they can intervene to support the exchange rate.
Okay, very detailed. Now let's look at the recent policy rate cut. What were the main reasons the MPC lowered the policy rate to 1.50%?
Okay, so it's on August. They decreased it from 1.75 to 1.5. And this is mainly due to weak domestic demand, external down risk due to the US tariff war, and also the judging where they think their interest rate needs to be lowered down to support financials in the economy. And of course, the financial condition there will be better. They are the second lowest in interest rate, and of course, this will be expected to improve the economic growth.
Okay, and looking at today's situations, what is the current policy rate and why was it capped at that level?
So it is kept at 1.5 this October, and I think this November it is expected to stay 1.5%. This is mainly because they are already the second lowest, so I don't think they will be lower than Singapore at 1%. I don't think so. But it is expected to remain flat at 1.5% because the MPC or the Bank of Thailand is more cautious in decreasing or increasing their interest rate because they want to make sure a stable inflation rate at 1 to 3%. And of course, they want to make sure economic growth stays increasing stably.
Okay, and lastly, let's discuss about credit conditions. Why is credit growth in Thailand expected to remain negative?
Okay, although the interest rate has decreased to 1.5%, second lowest in Southeast Asia, the Bank of Thailand still forecasts a weakening loan demand. Why? Because there is a large decrease in the borrowings of large companies, and SMEs face lower sales. Why is there lower sales? That's because of a lower export. As forecasted, it's at negative 10% next year. And of course, this will reduce their confidence, and of course, borrowing will reduce.
Okay, thank you so much for the great discussion today. We learned a lot about Thailand's populations, economy, and its role in the region. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us. We hope today's talk gave you new perspectives and useful knowledge. Don't forget to tune in again for our next episode with more exciting topics and inspiring guests. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.